Do you want to create, multiply, and manage your wealth like multimillionaires and billionaires? In 2025, you can set up your own family office legacy wealth strategy in 45 days. Producers Wealth has open enrollment for their family office workshop, the Family Polaris. In the 6-week family office workshop, you will set up the 5 family office structure pillars. MC Laubscher and his team at Producers Wealth will walk you through setting up legacy assets like your family statement of purpose and your family constitution, legal tax and insurance structures to contractually multiply the family's wealth with every generation, your own family bank to finance everything your family needs, asset management strategies of billionaires and endowments, and how to establish your very own family mastermind. In 45 days, you will have your own family office structure in place if you join this program. The workshop includes curriculum, which consists out of video lessons, weekly live coaching Zoom calls, and community. You can be part of a community of like minded families that want to live and leave a legacy for their families. You can apply to join the program at yourownfamilyoffice.ai. That's yourownfamilyoffice.ai. The world is going through changes. Changes happening at a speed that we have never seen before. This is leading to disruption, chaos, panic, fear, hysteria, and a turbulent economy and marketplace. How do you protect your wealth in a turbulent world? How do you invest for cash flow in alternative assets to escape the rat race in times of uncertainty? How do you decentralize yourself, your family, your community, your business, and your investments to become sovereign and escape the matrix? If you are looking for strategies, tactics, and techniques to escape the rat race and matrix, you are in the right place. My name is MC Laubscher, and this is Cashflow Ninja. This is Cashflow Ninja. I'm MC Laubscher. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode and spending your most valuable resource, your time, once again with me on the show. Everything Cashflow Ninja is at cashflowninja.com. Cashflowninja.com. We've got over 1,000 podcasts. We've got all of our books. We've got reports, and we have webinars and much, much more, all at cashflowninja.com. And don't forget to subscribe to the #1 newsletter in the alternative wealth strategy and alternative asset investing space, the Wealth Dojo. You can subscribe to the Wealth Dojo by going to cashflowninja.com/subscribe. I've got a fantastic show for you today. In today's show, I'm going to talk about the family office wealth strategy and how you could set up your very own family office in 45 days. Now, what is a family office? A family office is a privately held company that handles investment management and wealth management for a wealthy family, generally one with at least $50 to $100 million in investable assets, with the goal being to effectively grow and transfer wealth across generations. Now, again, you might be listening to this and say, MC, what are you talking about? A family office, $50 to $100 million in investable assets? I'm nowhere near that. But my philosophy has always been, you don't have to be a Rockefeller to do what the Rockefellers do. When you study what happens with these incredibly wealthy families that have their very own family offices, modeled after the Rockefeller family office, which modeled it after European family offices like the Rothschilds, when you do that, you are going to see massive changes within your own wealth strategy. So even if you just take the strategy, the structure, and you implement and execute exactly the way that they do on a smaller scale, you're going to see incredible results in your life and the life of your family. So that's why I'm going to talk about the family office strategy in today's episode. It's going to be a shorter episode. I'm going to jam as much value as I possibly can. But this will be one of the most valuable episodes that I've ever published, because this strategy is so powerful. I mean, it is almost like a secret playbook to see what happens inside of family offices, and how these extremely ultra high net worth and affluent families, how they implement and execute a strategy, what structures and frameworks they use, and then also what tools and tactics they use to execute on this. So don't be intimidated by the big numbers. You can do this in your life and the life of your family right now, starting out this year. And I'm telling you, the changes that you're going to see in your life and in your family's life in the next 12 months is something that you wouldn't be even able to imagine. So let's dive into this family office strategy, shall we? Every single presentation, podcast, or just talk that somebody does about a family office or the family office model and family office strategy starts with the story of the Rockefellers and the Vanderbilts. So if you're not familiar with the story, there's two families, and two families were both at one point in time not only the richest families in the entire United States, but also one of the richest families in the world. So on the one side, you had the Rockefeller family. On the other side, you had the Vanderbilt family. The outcomes and the legacy of both families are completely different. So let's take a look quickly. On the one side, you had the Vanderbilt family. Cornelius Vanderbilt is the patriarch, known as the Commodore, built his fortune in the railroad and transportation industry, and then, of course, went into many, many other industries. But an extremely, extremely powerful man, powerful family, amassed massive amount of wealth. Right, at one stage, one of the richest men in the United States and the world. Now, Cornelius Vanderbilt, then, when he passed away, left his fortune to his oldest son. His oldest son actually almost 10x, I believe, the family wealth. So it didn't just disappear when he passed away. His son basically 10x the wealth of the family, grew it a lot. But then the next generation, I mean, it really started to come apart. And today, if we look at the Vanderbilt family, the name, yeah, everybody still recognizes the name. You could still find it on institutions like the Vanderbilt University. And also the Biltmore estate. Gloria Vanderbilt is currently the matriarch of the family. She's pretty well known. But most of the descendants have died poor, broke, and not millionaires. There are some. Anderson Cooper, an anchor on CNN, is an example. He is from the Vanderbilt family. But so you had at one stage a titan of industry, Cornelius Vanderbilt, that amassed a fortune and this wealth. And I mean, the son grew the wealth exponentially, and then all of a sudden, the wealth was basically spread to all of the family members. And what did they do with it? Lavish lifestyles. They bought real estate in all the major cities in the United States and all across the world. Prime trophy real estate. They spend the money. They stopped being stewards of capital and just blew the fortune. And eventually, all of those trophy properties were sold, and no longer in the Vanderbilt family. On the other side, you have the Rockefeller family, John D. Rockefeller, the oil men of Ohio. That's the Rockefeller family. Again, amassed a fortune through oil. And if we look at the Rockefeller legacy today, the family has exponentially grown their wealth with each and every generation. I mean, it's amazing. They've set up a structure, a family office structure, keeping the money together, having a family strategy for generations, a multi-generational wealth strategy, and with each and every generation, the family's wealth multiplies. I mean, there's a multiplication effect. It's not just it grows a little, it multiplies because they had the correct strategy, the correct structures and frameworks, the correct tool and tactics, and the right team around them. So, two titans of industry, John D. Rockefeller and Cornelius Vanderbilt, two titans that amassed fortunes. And if you look at where their families are today, two completely different outcomes. The Rockefeller family used the family office model, the family office strategy, which is this private wealth firm where you have all of the advisors under one roof, all working in sync, all aligned to work on the wealth strategy of the Rockefeller family. On the other side, no strategy whatsoever. There is a story that is shared that Cornelius Vanderbilt, on his deathbed, said to his son, and again, this is alleged. Some people say there's a rumor, but allegedly, Cornelius Vanderbilt said to his son on his deathbed, "Keep the money together." I had this thought that struck me like a bolt of lightning. What if Cornelius Vanderbilt said to his son, "Keep the family together," and not keep the money together, but keep the family together? Because if he had kept the family together and focused on the family rather than the money, the result would have been that the money would have been kept together too, if the family was kept together. So I'm going to start there, that the most important thing about a family office is the individuals of the family and the family. That is the most important thing, right? It's the people. That is actually the assets of the family, the people of the family. That's the most important thing. And I think people lose sight of that completely because they just see a large amount of financial wealth, but they don't realize that the biggest wealth in that family is the family members. So when you start talking about a family office strategy, that's where you start. You start with the people, the individual members of the family. Because if you invest first in the family and the individual members of the family collectively, the family members then will produce and create at a higher level. Everything else will grow because the individuals are growing, the family's growing, and as a result, operating business, investments, and overall the net worth of the family will grow. So let's dive into the family office strategy. At Producers Wealth, we call this family office strategy the family Polaris. This is the North Star of your family. So, what does the family Polaris consist out of? Well, there's 5 pieces of the family Polaris. There's 5 elements of this family office strategy. The first element is legacy assets. The second element is legal, tax, and insurance structures. The third element is the family bank. The fourth element is asset management. And the fifth element is the family mastermind. Let's take a look at legacy assets. So, what are the legacy assets? As I shared, the most important thing in the family office strategy is the people and the family's legacy. So, with legacy assets, you'll find a couple of things. The first thing is the statement of purpose. Now, what is the statement of purpose? It's the why the family is creating this family office strategy, this legacy, right? The same as the Declaration of Independence was the why for the United States. The statement of purpose is the why of your family. Then you have the family constitution, which is the how. The same way that the United States Constitution is the how for the United States. The third thing with legacy assets is the family's DNA. And then the fourth piece is the family's legacy library. And then, of course, the fifth piece is the family life book. Let me go back for a second to the statement of purpose and the family constitution. So, in the statement of purpose, you're basically sharing and codifying and documenting why you're setting up this family office strategy, why you are setting up this legacy for your family, and what the vision is. What does your family look like, and what does the future of all of the children and the grandchildren and the great grandchildren. What does their world look like? What is the vision for your family for setting up this family office strategy? The family constitution is how we're going to execute on that vision. So the family constitution is more focused on who we are, what we stand for, what we stand against, and then, of course, an instructional document of exactly how we're going to execute on that vision for the family. The family's DNA is really what shapes the family. So when we look at family DNA, you look at um, the family crest and symbols. Have you noticed that, when people start a business or an organization, the first things that they do after filing all the paperwork and getting the legal and the tax strategies in place, they set up things that are visible, symbols like logos, right? And branding, different kind of colors. You could do the same for your family. One of the most impactful things that I've done with my family is to create a family crest. It was the most fun we've ever had. It was an incredible experience. So you too should do that. Everyone should have a family crest and symbols for their family. You should, in writing, have your family core values. And this is going to come from you and your family. You guys can sit down and figure out exactly who you are, what you stand for, what you stand against, and what are the core values, what's right at the heart of your family. Every single person in your family should know those core values and should be able to name them at any given point in time. The family mindset and habits. What type of thinking happens inside of your home? What type of thinking happens inside of your family, right? Is it abundance? Is it growth mindset? Is it scarcity? Is it fear? The habits, because your mindset shapes the habits of the family, just as individual mindsets shape individual habits, right? So, I mean, there's so many things that you can do from a family mindset and a habit standpoint. I'll just give you a couple of examples. In our home, we have every single week a question of the week for the family. And guess what? It's printed out with our family crest and it's put up right inside of our door. Right inside of our door, the front door, actually, where you can see it. So every single time we go in and out of the house or we pass the front door, we see it. Question number one for this week, number one of this year is, what are we grateful for? What are we grateful for? That's already changing the mindset and how we think inside of our home. We're already having great conversations. Habits. We're grateful for our health. We're going to continue to invest in our health by working out, getting up, working out, doing physical things, right? Going on family bike rides, that type of stuff. And the fourth piece is family rituals, traditions, and heirlooms. Every family has rituals, just as every organization. If you have a business, you have rituals, traditions, and there are all the other different things that I just mentioned. So your family should have them too. What are your rituals? Is Friday night game night that you're playing Monopoly or you're playing Cashflow board games? What are traditions, right? How do you make things memorable and unique inside of your family for all of the different holidays? How do you celebrate birthdays? How do you celebrate special occasions? These are important things. This is the family's DNA. You want to create a legacy that lives on forever, you got to be very, very intentional about your family DNA. So I've talked about the statement of purpose, the family constitution, family DNA, legacy library is number 4. Legacy library is so important because think of all the tools we have available right now, right? We have so many things that we can do through audio, through video, through just writing. So you can record podcasts, you can record videos, you can write blog posts and articles and put them all in your family's legacy library to share your thinking, your journey, lessons that you've learned, things that you did which You can share and help others that could provide a shortcut, right? An intellectual shortcut in your family. A legacy library is extremely, extremely, extremely powerful. So, yeah, I mean, think about it. Like one of the things that I thought about when I first saw this legacy library, which I saw for the first time with my friend Dave Steck, and the Steck family does this, is, I had so many questions for my grandparents that are no longer here. Like I'm older now, so my thinking is different. I have children of my own. I have so many questions to them. They're not around. They're not here anymore. I can't ask them those questions or get answers from them. But what if they had left podcast videos and or writings, blog posts, and it's all inside of our family legacy library, and I can learn from them? Wouldn't that be incredible? Wouldn't their legacy have been able to live on, and their ideas, and just their mindset, and their worldview? It's very, very powerful stuff. You can even include in the legacy library, um, same podcasts, videos, and blogs of your mentors, people that you admire and respect. I mean, I have videos inside of my legacy library, for example, of Nelson Nash, all of these podcasts that Nelson did with me, and then also a lot of different videos that he did around infinite banking concept. That's all in my legacy library so that my children would have access to someone's ideas and just their worldview that had a profound impact in my life. The final piece, the fifth piece, is Lifebook. Lifebook is a program. I have no affiliation or relationship with Lifebook. Lifebook is a program which focuses on 12 different areas. So every single month, you can pick an area for study within your family and write and set goals and targets and write your vision of how you want to accomplish those goals and those targets and execute on that. So the 12 different areas is health and fitness, intellectual, emotional, character, spiritual, love relationship, parenting, social, career, financial, quality of life, and life vision. All of these things you can incorporate as part of your legacy assets to not only live your legacy, but leave your legacy. So the first piece of this family office strategy is legacy assets, the intangibles. Now we get to more tangibles. The second piece is tax, legal, and insurance structures. Now, this is, believe it or not, the easier part. The intangibles are the hardest. The tangibles, much more easier. So under legal, tax, and insurance structures, you get risk management and risk mitigation. You get asset protection, estate planning, tax efficiency, and then also legal contracts of the family, like non-disclosure agreements, prenups, and more. The third piece is the family bank. Imagine you set up a family bank, right? Using specifically designed life insurance contracts. You build out this bank, and your family has access to capital at all times to invest in the family and also in the family's operating businesses and in assets that the family wishes to acquire. That's the role that a family bank plays. A family bank warehouses the family's capital and life insurance contracts, and the family's operating businesses, investment portfolio, and family members always have access to capital. The family maximizes life insurance on every single family member to contractually grow the family's wealth with each and every generation. There's a couple of different life insurance strategies that's applicable here. Infinite banking, you set up the family bank. It's life insurance contracts on all the family members inside of a trust that the family now has a bank that it can go to for capital. There's also the family waterfall strategy, also known as the Rockefeller strategy. And what happens is every single generation maxes out the life insurance that carriers would underwrite on them. And then when the first generation passes away, there's a waterfall of millions of dollars to the second generation, which then maxes out life insurance policies on them. And when the second generation passes away, there's a waterfall over to the third generation. And they continue to do the exact same thing. This way, your children's 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 children, any children ever born in your lineage will never, ever, ever not have opportunity, because this is what this family bank will provide. Not just money, opportunity. The family bank is also critical for risk mitigation strategies. Critical. The fourth piece is asset management. Asset management. How do you manage assets like families that have 50 to $100 million in net worth and even more, right? This is where we get into that. In asset management, the mindset is, and this is what I learned from Jim Rogers, by the way, that I interviewed on the Cashflow Ninja podcast. Legendary investor Jim Rogers. He said to me, he's like, MC, if you can only make 10 investments in your entire lifetime, what would they be? If you can only make 10, right? It's not about quantity, it's about quality. And think about it this way. If you, and this is another a question that I got from someone that I spoke with in a family office. He said, think about it this way, right? This is how these families think. If you have to invest for the next 100 years, what would you invest in? That's the mindset when it comes to asset management. You could see there's no short term thinking here. There's no get rich quick. There's no buy a flashy, shiny, exciting doggy meme coin so that I can become a gazillionaire overnight. No, 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 no. This is very intentional, long term. You're thinking in increments of 100 years. And this is where the permanent portfolio concept comes in, where you also have a certain portfolio that is structured a specific way that you rebalance every year. Harry Brown has got a fantastic book about this, the permanent portfolio. The mindset and the concept when it comes to asset management in a family office structure is being a stewardship of wealth, right? You're a steward of the capital of the family. You don't see it as belonging to you. It belongs to your family and the future generations. Some great reading around this way of managing assets is the Ivy Portfolio, How to Invest Like Top Endowments and Avoid Bear Markets, written by Mabane T. Faber and Eric W. Richardson. This is the type of investment strategies that you have as far as asset management. When you have a diversified portfolio, you'll have operating businesses, financial assets like the family bank, real estate assets, heirloom assets, philanthropy, deferred assets, and human non-financial assets. That's the wealth of the family. The fifth piece of this family office strategy is the family mastermind. One of my most favorite parts of this entire strategy. This concept comes from the Rothschild family. The Five Men from Frankfurt, by the way, is a great book to read on it. Basically, what it shares is how the Rothschild family at one stage, the patriarch had 5 sons, and he sent them all to major European cities where they started Rothschild banking businesses. But once a year, they would get together and have a family retreat, and they would uh, all get back in alignment of the family, right? Make sure that they're all in alignment with the family vision and the family values and where the family is headed together collectively. And then also have a mastermind on best practices and how they can grow and improve each individual business. The family mastermind can be quarterly, semi-annually, or annual. And this is the place for relationship building. This is the area inside of the family office strategy where memories are created, special occasions are celebrated. This is the glue of the family. At a family mastermind, everybody gets back into alignment. Bonds are strengthened. You grow the intellectual and relationship capital of the family, which will result in more financial capital. You have family meetings at these family masterminds, and you have fun. You enjoy each other's company. This is critical in keeping the family together, because if you can keep the family together, you're going to keep the money together. And every single generation is going to continue to execute on this family office strategy. So the 5 areas again of this family office strategy is legacy assets, tax, legal, and insurance frameworks, the family bank, asset management, and the family mastermind. Now, I have created a family office workshop, which I am launching with this podcast. The family office workshop. And basically, in this family office workshop, you will be able to create your own family office structure in 45 days. This is a 6-week program where in 6 weeks, leaving that workshop, this is your outcome. You will have a multi-generational financial strategy. So I put together a program that you can join and create your own family office in 45 days. You'll have a family office workshop for 6 weeks. 5 weeks will be allocated to the 5 different areas of the family office strategy. So in week 1, we're going to create legacy assets. In week 2, we're going to set up tax, legal, and insurance frameworks. In week 3, we're going to establish a family bank and get that set up. In week 4, we're going to give you structures and frameworks so that you can manage your assets like billionaires. And in week 5, we're going to help you create and set up your family mastermind that you can run. In week 6, we're going to put this all together and we're going to polish this, and you will have a multi-generational financial strategy. There's 3 things that's going to make this family office workshop incredibly valuable for you. The first thing is curriculum. We're going to have videos that you can work through. And the second piece is coaching. We're going to have live group coaching calls to go through all of this and answer all the different questions. And then third, we have a community of people and other families that want to accomplish the exact same thing as you. They want to live and leave a legacy. We're opening up applications for this family office workshop. You could go to yourownfamilyoffice.ai. That's yourownfamilyoffice.ai. Yourownfamilyoffice.ai. That's going to take you to the application. You're going to fill out an application, and someone will get in touch with you to set up a call. The application process is January, February, and March, and the family office workshop will start the first week of April this year. So the first family office workshop goes live first week of April, but the applications are open. You can go to yourownfamilyoffice.ai. Thank you to all of my listeners and my viewers for again spending the most valuable resource, your time, once again with me on the show. Everything is at cashflowninja.com. Cashflowninja.com, podcasts, books, reports, webinars, and more. And don't forget to subscribe to the best newsletter in the alternative wealth strategy and alternative asset investing space, the Wealth Dojo. You can subscribe to the Wealth Dojo by going to cashflowninja.com/subscribe. Until next time, live infinitely. This presentation is for educational and informational purposes only. The information being presented and considered does not consider your particular financial objectives or situation, and it does not make personalized recommendations. This material is not intended to replace the advice of a qualified tax and legal advisor or other qualified professionals, and you should not use the information in place of a customized consultation with a licensed professional regarding your specific personal financial objectives, situation, and needs. We believe the information provided is reliable, but we do not guarantee its accuracy, timeliness, or completeness.